following homily is intended for spiritually mature congregation. The opinions and views held within this homily are not necessarily shared by the Episcopal Church or the larger Christian church. There. Got that out of the way. Because what I've decided to do with this wonderful prodigal son parable is just toss out the biblical and analytical tools and use something different. We use Bowenian family systems theory with a little bit of object relations therapy thrown in for good measure. And look at it that way. Looking at this gospel that way, it's really different from the way most Christians gush over, oh, the Father running out and loving, then the Son, and that great reunion. Really different. First of all, let's look at the characters. We have that son. Let's call him the scoundrel. That's his role in the family. Never pays attention, never does the work. He takes half the family's wealth, squanders it, and even when he squanders it, here's the point most good Christians miss in this parable. Does he have a conversion experience? When he reaches bottom, does he have a conversion experience? If he's an addict, no, he's still an active addict. Because when he reaches bottom, he says, oh golly, my father has servants, hired hands, they get to eat, I'm hungry. Let's see, what can I do to manipulate him? Oh, I'll go to him and I'll say, Father, I'm just not worthy to be called your son anymore. Let me be your hired hand. And to prove the manipulation, he practices a speech on the way home. Now, the father is an enabler. That's his role in this family system. Yeah, told you it's going to be different. And in object relations, there's a negative and a positive parental object. He's a negative parental object. Did you get that? The father's a negative. Because all he knows how to do is dote and give in to this younger son. He does not know how to apply boundaries. And then we have the elder son. He's the caretaker. He's the one that's trying to hold this family together. He's out in the fields working, making sure the servants are working, and that it's viable and moving forward. But he's still in a broken system. And here's why. This is what makes families really dysfunctional. Younger son's a scoundrel. Always is a scoundrel. Dad's an enabler. Always is an enabler. Older son, caretaker. Always a caretaker. They never share roles. They're not flexible in their roles. If the elder son could be a little bit of scoundrel or a little bit of an enabler, or any of them share some of the attributes of those other roles, their characters and personalities would flesh out, and they would become whole persons, and that system would have a chance. As it stands right now, the family of the prodigal son is prodigal because it's lacking one very important thing: accountability. No one is accountable. And that all goes back to the parental figure. He does not set boundaries. Love is not love if it cannot set boundaries. The most harm I ever did to my sons was when I doted on them without giving them the opportunity to learn that things come to them when they accept responsibility, when they act in a responsible way. So, where's the gospel here? This, Happy Prodigal Sunday. This is supposed to be the one Sunday where you feel really good because the son's there and there's love and everybody's reconciling. They're eating this nice big fatted calf. No. There is gospel here. And the gospel is that it's a tale of warning to each and every one of us. See, the thing about parables, the writers of Gospels like Luke sets them in a context. And he sets them in that context to try to give you a clue how it should be interpreted. Parables don't have an interpretation except for the one that you hear. And this is the one I gleaned from it this week. So this parable says to me that accountability is important. Accountability is the one thing that will keep systems from collapsing. Because the son comes back, it's reconciled, looks like everything. No. The Father has allowed that system to enter right back into another cycle of destruction. Because He has not taught the Son responsibility. Well, son, I'm glad you're home. Now, yes, why don't you join the field hands and work out in the fields for a while? And then we'll see what we can do to reintegrate you into this family system. If that had happened, that would have been gospel. Because the son would have been saved. He's not saved here. He's still lost. He's still dead. And that's the key. That's the gospel. We'll give you prophecy now. Now, a lot of people misunderstand prophecy. They think, well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen 5 years out in the future. That's not prophecy. Prophecy is looking at the Word of God as it comes to us, trying to understand that revelation, looking at the way we live in life, the way we're walking, and seeing how that matches up. And if it matches up, saying, well and good. If it diverges, say, watch out. So here we go. If in your family system there is not accountability, your family is going to be in a destructive cycle. And there could be things like addiction within that family. There could be excess. There could be prodigals and enablers. If this religious family system is not accountable to itself, it's going to run into trouble. If we don't listen to each other and respect each other and allow others to have different roles within this family, not the same role all the time, we're going to end up as a prodigal family. And it doesn't just apply to those of us in here. We go out that door. And here's the big one. If our financial systems are not held accountable for their failures, they will collapse. Not that they may, they will collapse. If our political system is not held accountable, it will collapse eventually. That's what the Word of God says. Now, here's the good news. Accountability. It's the fertilizer in our field of faith. Accountability takes systems and charges them with creativity, with potential, with vision. Accountability makes us